Welcome, everyone, to a very special episode of the HR and Payroll 2.0 podcast. I'm Pete Tiliakis, and as always, I'm joined by the legendary Julie Fernandez. Welcome, Julie.
Thanks so much, Pete. We're doing something different today, aren't we? I see
Yeah.
you're all decked out in the
Yes.
special clothing for the occasion.
Yeah, I got my suit on. I got my black suit on. I think I'm channeling, what's the podcaster that does Lex Friedman? He kind of wears the black suit all the time. Big day here. A special announcement, right? I mean, hopefully you can see the title of this episode. It's a really important day, and we thought it'd be important and right to share it with our audience first before we have a big press release coming out in about a week after this. So, big announcement. I'm really excited about this, and I thought we could break it down for everybody. So,
All right.
dressed up for it.
Are we starting with ourselves and how we've grown and what's been happening overall with the show? Is that where you want to start?
Yeah. Let's talk about where we've come from and what we're doing and where we're heading, right? So since September of 2021, right, we've been running the show, right? We launched the show, and we fundamentally did so with the idea that this was going to be access to our Black books, right? All the folks that we have, like Jeannie Walden and Sue Danino and Joe Wilson from Workday, just all these folks that we have access to, and all this information that we have access to. And the split views that we have, right? Analysts, my head's in the clouds, watching what's coming. You're down on the ground trying hard to fight with it and get it all in. But the reality of it is that we have this rich network and information that we have access to. Why can't we share that with the world? And just help everybody kind of think about how to think about these things.
That's right.
So that's where the show was born, right? And so, Julie, I was looking back at some of the things, like some of the names. I don't know if you know, we have a list of the names that we had in there. A lot of transformation was in that. A lot of names that sounded like shows that we figured out in research belong to other shows, but we landed on HR and Payroll 2.0, and it seems like it's fit us and stuck with us. And I don't think, hopefully no one has stolen it. But just looking at that and listening to like our first episodes. You ever gone back and listened to our first episode?
Yes, indeed. And we
Do you
started
remember?
out just you and I without a lot of guests, and we've kind of
Yes.
evolved to share more of that for sure.
Yeah. Do you remember the first episode, right?
Yeah. What was the catchphrase?
The
that
do
we
nothing
used?
buyer,
The do
right?
nothing. Yeah. The
Yeah,
do nothing.
the do nothing buyer. Yeah. So look, it started out very modest, if you will, right? We were producing the show on my Mac, on GarageBand, grassroots, right?
Yeah.
Just figuring this out as we go, right? Mics, knowledge, and internet access, and Riverside. Shout out to Riverside, and away we went, right? And I would say, over time, we really dialed it in, right? We found what we were, right? We started out as a show where we did a little bit of news in the beginning.
Yeah. And of
And then
every
we would talk a
episode.
subject.
Yeah.
Yeah, we would share a thought leadership subject.
Yeah.
But that quickly evolved. And you're right. We started to, open up and bring on guests. Now, I don't know if people know this or not, but our show is not predicated on guests.
That's right.
We could run the show with just you and I, but I think that might get a little bit boring for me anyway, for you anyway. Get tired of talking to each other. And we got so much people we can learn from, right? Why not bring it in and share it with the audience? So I'm happy that we're able to do that.
Yeah, and listen, the other thing that we don't do, which is kind of foundational to a lot of podcasts, is we don't invite guests in exchange for some endorsement or some talk about their products and their services. And that is so key to the conversations that we want to have with folks. And that's what we mean when we say, this is not commercialized, that we're not trading time with us on the air and talking about things for something that's an implicit infomercial or
No, not
endorsement
at
of
all.
their stuff, right?
Yeah, this is all real. This is all very genuine. As you know, 100% of the guests that come on the show are in our network, folks that we have relationships with. And in some cases, most cases, we have actually talked the subject with them separately over the years or at events or wherever, and thought, hey, this ought to be a podcast, right? I don't know how many times I've caught up with an executive in the industry and said, man, we should have recorded this. This would have been really good. And so that's where HR and Payroll 2.0 came up. And we started to shape this around as we went and found our format. But you're absolutely right? We don't ever. I get a lot of emails, Julie. I don't know if people know this, but we turn away 100% of the guests that or folks that reach out to us. And thank you to those that do, but it's just not generally right for us. It just doesn't fit with the way we do things, and we don't know them. And a lot of times, Julie, I've had people come to me. I had a guy come to me one time. I think it was probably their admin or something. Sent me a person who is a expert in commercial real estate for the healthcare industry, and I didn't even know how to respond necessarily to the email because I didn't know what I would even say to this person. But we fundamentally just don't normally take them. And I appreciate it, right? We got a lot of authors, a lot of business leaders, a lot of cool things that come along, but it just doesn't fit with the reality of this show and the genuineness of the knowledge that we're sharing, right? And so we guard, if you will, the audience from fluff. We don't bring people on because they're promoting something. Now, in full candor, Julie, I do from time to time bring my clients on. Sometimes, so for example, let's think of a good one. God, I can't remember the last time I did it, but like sometimes when I write, say something with a vendor, do some research, I'll bring them on and we'll talk about it. But that's not something that we're taking money for the podcast and necessarily using
That's
it
right.
that way. We have bootstrapped this entirely.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
It's one of
yeah,
our
and
foundational principles, right? Is that we're not
yeah,
selling the conversation that we're having,
no.
for anything that,
Yeah, and even the handful of vendors that have come on, we've made it very clear we don't allow pitching, right? We don't allow a sales pitch. It's more about share your knowledge, share about what you're solving, and teach, right? And that's what we do, ad-free education. So,
ad-free.
however, yeah, however, right? In order to grow this podcast, Julia, I thought we'd go over a few numbers here. I don't
Sure.
know if you know this or not. I've seen the numbers for 2025. And did you know, this is amazing, right? Almost 14,000 downloads as of today from January 1. Now, I can remember when it took us, it felt like 2 to 3 years to get to, or at least 2 years to get to 5,000.
Yeah,
And that seemed to me like a lot. I was like, wow, 5,000 downloads. I mean, here we are. We've arrived, right? And so 14,000, I'm very proud of that, right? That's a 31% increase from last year. So impressive, right? And that's the audience coming and hanging out with us, and we totally appreciate it. But yeah, Julie, like you go down and you look. Here's an interesting, fun one. Our video consumption went up. We added YouTube this year. I don't know if everybody knows that. Maybe not everybody even uses YouTube, but a lot of people do. I do. 77 hours of video time when we weren't a show that was originally started on video. We were only audio for
that's
for
right.
until this year,
That's right.
right? So audio only at first. And also, Julie, I don't know if you realize this, you probably have. We are a bi-weekly show
Yep,
that has actually been running weekly for as long as I can recall,
that's
most
right.
of this year,
And we
right?
began monthly, right? Where most do. We began monthly,
Monthly,
moved to
3 or 3
biweekly.
weeks.
Yeah,
Every three
every 3
weeks we were
weeks.
doing. Yeah,
And moved it up to every 2, and honestly, we've had so much content to share. Yeah, that's
yeah,
been pretty close to weekly and sometimes with surprise or breaking news kind of episodes in between.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. Like the CIPP thing, we did 2 a week for about 4 weeks, or 5 weeks, something like that, 3 weeks. And so, yeah, we really just try to crank out the content. And again, we're trying to produce content that we are interested in, right? That we want to learn from, that we know other folks want to learn from, and it's great, right? We have the opportunity. I'm so blessed. You're blessed to pick up the phone and find a CFO like Sue Danino, or call Joe Wilson from Workday, or get Jeannie Walden, the award-winning CMO we had on, one of my favorite executives, right? It's I'm blessed with that opportunity, and that's what I love, that we can share this. So,
that's right.
with all that said, the big announcement here is that we are taking on sponsorships in 2026. Now, you're probably thinking, well, what does that mean? It means nothing to you, to be honest with you. It will not change anything about your experience. I want to talk a little bit about how we went into this and why we're doing it. To your point, Julie, we have been bootstrapping this show for 3 years now. It's very expensive. I don't know if people know that. Podcasting is not turning on a mic and talking. It's considerably more work. It is very time consuming, and it is very much something that you have to plan. You have to prepare. You have to schedule people. You have to, understand the lanes. I got ADD. We'll get all over the road. We got to have a lane, so to speak, a framing, if you will, of what we're going to talk about. We've got to do a lot of coordination with getting it onto the different platforms. We've taken on a producer, right, over the years, which has helped us. Shout out to Ryan Kay. He was one of our great episodes, one of our
Gen Zs.
young Gen Z episodes, which I really appreciated on his career pivot. So yeah, I mean, in order for us to take this though to the next level, we've done well, right? Bootstrap 13,000, 14,000 downloads this year. That's amazing. But in order for us to go to another level, we needed help, right? We needed not just revenue, but we needed the opportunity for other brands to take us to places that we're not. And we're already reaching. I'm not sure how the numbers really work out, Julie. I would say we have one download in at least, I think, 70 to 80 countries. But if you went into maybe the higher percentages, at least 40 countries are active, 40 to 50 are active. So we're going far, but we could go further, right? And we do need help. And so what we said hey, how do we create a program that would incentivize a few brands to go along with us, bet on us, invest in this platform, but allow us the full autonomy to continue to do what we do, right? We cover news, we cover events, we cover updates on compliance, we cover all kinds of different things. We need to be able to talk about the market, all of the market. We also needed brands that were, in my opinion, education first with their content, right? We needed brands that weren't just looking for clicks. I didn't want that. You didn't want that. We wanted very high quality partners in this. And I will use the word partner very specifically because that's what I see this as, right? A partnership. And so basically, Julie, we landed on three brands, none of which are competitors, all of which are allowing us the autonomy to continue to do what we do, and all of which said, hey, we're some of the first to step forward and go, we're interested, we want to be a part of this. So I'm really, really proud to be announcing these three today, but wanted to pause there. Just get your thoughts, Julie. You've seen what we've been building um, and what we're building next. What are your thoughts on all that?
Yeah, well, as you mentioned, it was really important to us to continue to do what we did, and part of that is being neutral and and not endorsing anyone
Yes.
in particular across the market. That's very key to what we did, and we did have a moment or a time here in this last year where we really toyed with the typical way of helping to grow a podcast, which is to begin to introduce ads and and spots and things
Yeah.
that generate revenue, and we both really disliked that idea because it not only implies that we're endorsing something, but it's also a
Hmm.
distraction from the conversations that we're trying to bring to the audience. So, momentarily it seemed like that's the way everybody goes. Maybe we should go that way. And it wasn't right for us.
Yeah.
We just really want to keep doing what we're doing. We hope that it's the right thing and that people enjoy it. We're not endorsing things. We're having conversations that we think everybody would benefit from, and we needed some folks that would step up and say, hey, this has a value. And the value is not the typical commercialized value. It is
Yeah.
the value of just education and info sharing and connecting the dots.
Yeah, no, that's a great, great point. We even sampled and tried, when we joined Work Defined. It's been a great relationship with Work Defined. We love being on the network. But we found that it didn't fit us even to have the ads from the other shows, which I was happy to promote, but it just disrupted the experience. And I think it completely distracted from the ad free education that we were trying to promote and create. And so, yeah, when we went to these vendors, it was very important. I don't know if, I mean, you know this, Julie, but we had a very short list of organizations that we even introduced this to. We did not open this up and say, "Hey, who wants to sponsor us?" I went very selectively to the audience of vendors that I believe fit our model, fit us, fit our brand, fit their brand, and the way that they do things. And just thrilled that the three that we ended up with stepped forward. Now, what I will tell you about these three is it was very important to us and for them when we went into this that again nothing will be changed about the way we do things. No one's going to tell us what the content should be. We're not going to start running ads. We're not going to change who we talk about. We are going to do everything that we've always done. Cover the market, help you understand and think about how to think about these things. I keep saying that kind of weirdly, but literally just give you the information to let you make a decision based on the access that we have. And the goal here again was ad-free education all along. It had to be oriented around that. And I'm really very proud of these vendors for stepping forward.
And hey, ad free means
Yeah.
including or excluding. There's no ads from these
No
three
ads.
either, right? So
No ads.
that was something that we were looking for in this formula, and we think we're very excited to have found it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. We couldn't be more thrilled. And thank you so much to these firms we're about to announce. We're going to read a little about them. I'm going to tell you something about them. I'm going to give you a little bit of an anecdote about each of them. But what I think is important to note here is that what we're talking about is again ad free continuation. Where really what you're going to see is HR and Payroll 2.0 powered ad free by these three vendors. And again, none of these are competitors. That was very important, right? We wanted separate lanes. They could be partners, but they couldn't be competitors. We didn't want any rub there. And we wanted, again, just that full autonomy to continue to do what we do. And so we're very thankful, so thankful that the three of them have stepped forward. Now, what you will see from us is that they'll follow our branding. Again, it'll say something along the lines of HR and Payroll 2.0 powered ad free by. You'll have our three sponsors. And there'll be links in all of our descriptions and things thanking them and giving you the option to go and have a look and see what they do. And if that's meaningful for you, great. But again, we're not in any way endorsing these products or others. I mean, I am an industry analyst, and although I'm not ranking vendors anymore for a major analyst firm, I still try to keep as much objectivity as I can and not have that sort of slant.
Yeah,
So,
that's right, and,
yeah,
in my business as an advisor, we do
yes,
end up working with clients who are evaluating and choosing and selecting, and we don't have any skin in the game, we have no downstream revenues, we have nothing in fact,
yeah,
I think folks will be interested to know who our 3 sponsors
yes.
are. They're often
Well,
not the ones that are most advised by advisors like me as well,
yeah,
so
totally,
no
totally.
links for you, no links for me from a, being beholden
No,
or
yeah.
trading commercial revenue.
Yeah, and again, these three vendors all stepped forward, all very willing to help us, and very much into what we're doing. Right, obviously, very supportive of what we do, and supportive of the model that we've put forward for everyone. So
Alright.
I'm excited, Julie. Do you want to go
I
ahead and
think
I can maybe unveil these a little bit?
yes, please
All
do. Where
right,
are you gonna start?
let's start. We're gonna do this alphabetically, and I'm gonna go over these one by one, and we will. I'm gonna tell you a little bit about. I'm gonna read their about that they have submitted to us as their description, and now I want to make sure everybody knows you're gonna see a press release go out about a week after this episode. We wanted our audience to hear this from us first. And then you're going to see a press release go out. It's going to go to a couple of countries, UK, Australia, and the United States. And shout out to Devin PR, Kate and Jean for helping us with that. We really appreciate them being our PR platform of choice, I guess, our advisor. So thank you so much for that. But yeah, Julie, if you're ready to do it,
Yep. Give me the first
let's get this
one
over with. All right.
alphabetically, drum roll.
The first sponsor who has stepped forward to help us and is going to power the show ad free in 2026 is GP, Globalization Partners. Now I'm going to read their about so you have an understanding if you're not familiar. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about these guys. So GP is the recognized leader in global employment, ranked number one in every analyst report. GP's global employment platform delivers everything companies of all sizes need to manage the full employee lifecycle with its trusted global HR agent, GPGIA, which we've talked about on
Yes,
here
we have.
with Nicole. Very cool product. And AI powered employer of record and contractor products. GP supports teams in 180 countries with more than a decade of global employment experience, the largest team of in country HR, legal, and compliance experts, and is unmatched proprietary knowledge base. So thank you. Really excited. And shout out, right, to GP. I'll tell you, Julie, I've been studying the EOR market now for almost a decade, and GP was one of the very first ones that stepped forward and got involved in my research. They very much spearheaded that in terms of being one of the ones to say, "Hey, we'll be a part of this and help you get this going." They spearheaded the GEIO, the I can't remember what that stands for, but it's the consortium to help promote a healthy global EOR industry. So very much leaders in terms of more than just their analyst rankings, very much leaders in the industry in terms of EOR and pioneers in a lot of ways to that service. And here, just stepping forward to help us power the show to show in 2026. So
Yeah.
huge thank you to GP.
And I just wanna
Yeah,
add, like, just that practitioner lens, because a lot of times it's hard to just place some of these
yeah,
folks in the market, and when you say EOR, that's employer of record. It's
yep,
clearly the folks that work with a lot of, small populations of, they're not employees. In the employer of record model, they're actually become employees of the EOR, of the company itself.
yeah,
So, it's where you might need that agility and that flexibility to have workers in a country where you don't have a presence, you don't have a legal entity, you're not ready for all of that, but you are still trying to do some form of business in the country, and that's the space that GP takes. So I
yeah.
just wanted to make sure I help put that in its
Yes,
context.
yeah. We've talked about global EOR here a lot, but I would argue there's a lot of folks that still don't know much about it or aren't entirely clear. And you're right. It's very
Niche. It's
PEO-ish.
very yeah,
Yeah,
it's a very niche place and yeah, offers a lot of cool things for folks that
yeah.
have the needs for it. So
Yeah,
awesome.
very much an employment model, right? It's not just a lot of people think it's the same thing as global payroll, not the
Yeah,
same
very
thing.
different.
Very payroll heavy, but fundamentally an employment model similar to the PEO model here in the
That's right.
US, sort of, but just a little different
Yeah.
outside. So
Okay.
again,
Thank
thank
you.
you so much to GP. Really appreciate them, and we're just so proud to have them as part of the team here. So
All right.
okay, all right,
On to
the
number
second one.
2.
All right, here we go. Again, drum roll here. OSV, One Source Virtual, has stepped forward. We are so proud of them. I've been working with these guys for years. But let me tell you a little bit about OSV. OSV delivers intended technology and expert services to automate the administrative, transactional tasks of payroll, taxes, accounts payable, benefits, and earned wage access within Workday while ensuring compliance. OSV has worked exclusively with Workday customers for the past 15 years, with service teams that average 10 years of Workday experience, in addition to 20 years of industry experience, with over 1,100 customers and 95% retention and $185 billion in treasury movement annually. That's massive. OSV helps organizations take their teams from transactional to transformational. So, huge thank you to OSV. I have a long relationship with these guys. Used to work for Trey Campbell back back in my NGA days, who we're bringing on the show very soon, and just really, unapologetically strong Workday, only Workday service organization that, I just, to be honest, Julie, whenever I made my list of firms I wanted to do this, I was really crossing my fingers for OSV because I felt they really aligned well with us, and they jumped at this, and I'm really appreciative to all of them over there for doing that. So thank you to OSV.
Yep, same here. Again, in addition to your shout outs for folks who maybe have not heard of them before or don't know exactly how or where they play, you've mentioned it several times. They're part of the Workday ecosystem. So if you don't use Workday, they're not on your radar necessarily, right? But if you do use Workday, a lot of folks do Workday or use Workday software themselves and wonder, hey, what if I don't want to do tax filing myself? Or what if I want some help? But I own the Workday system and I need some managed services on top of that. That's the lane that OSV plays in. And, the folks that might recognize their names or think about their services are in that particular lane. So
Yeah,
thank you,
yeah.
OSV.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you so much. I've been working with OSV, Julie, as an analyst for a long time. I helped do a lot of things there. And one of the things I have always really liked about what they did, I think is unique, in addition to the Workday expertise and practice, is their investments in Atmosphere, which is embedded into Workday, and very, very, very unique in terms of a service wrapping experience for you to get the most out of that investment. So,
Right.
yeah, but just a brand that just aligns so perfectly with us, and fundamentally, was just right, I think, for this program. So thank you so much to OSV. I'm really proud to have you guys as well. All right,
Okay.
last
Cue
one,
number
Julie.
three.
Yes. Now this one might be a little bit of a surprise. I'm very familiar with this organization. Have a I would say a long relationship, maybe the last 3 to 5 years, really, but have become incredibly fond of the way that they operate. And I'm going to talk about that here in a moment. But yes, I'm very proud to announce that we have added our third and final marquee sponsor, powering the show ad free in 2026, is going to be Zoho Corporation. And Zoho is a set. They're about reads, with 55 plus apps in nearly every major business category. Zoho Corporation is one of the world's most prolific technology companies, headquartered in Austin, Texas, with international headquarters in Chennai, India. Zoho is privately held and profitable with more than 18,000 employees. So thank you so much to Zoho. If you don't know about Zoho, I'll say this. I like to call them the Google of India. They have a little bit of everything for enterprise, but specialize in that small market, mid market buyer. And I'll just tell you this, Julie, there's two things here that I think you should go check out, a little bit of homework for our audience. Now, I'll tell you this, Zoho is not probably known for HR, but they have a very mature HR, payroll, and finance capability, all integrated, obviously, in their platform. And interestingly, they have a significant number of customers that are using those solutions, and that's growing. Right, payroll native for the U.S. now. They have MENA, they have India, and much of that is being built out around their HR and their broader enterprise solutions, CRM, everything you can imagine. But what I would encourage those of you to check out, honestly, especially if you're in HR, go and just have a look at Zoho's culture. Go and read about their transnational localism, I believe is what they call it. And they have a very unique culture in the way that they invest and curate talent, and the way that they invest in tier 2 and tier 3 cities. And it's just really cool. I've been to their events over in Austin. They took us to McAllen, Texas, for example, one time, and really showed us how they've invested in that community and brought about a tremendous amount of talent for their organization. So if you're a culture geek, I'm actually working on something special around culture right now. You'll find this really fascinating. Go and have a look at that. And what I love is, kind of like Workday, their CEO just stepped back from being CEO to go program again. So that's always very exciting, right? And Neil Burshree's done the same thing over at Workday. Just a lot of cool stuff coming on over there, over at Zoho, and I'm just so excited to have them.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks so much,
Yeah.
Zoho. And I know I'm learning more about them just, as they came into the forefront as someone that would really
Yeah.
espouse the values and help us continue to bring information to the community the way that we have. And
Yes.
it's interesting, we've had some conversations recently about the trends toward broader ERP, right? And the idea of putting different platforms together in different ways and down market in their own way. Zoho has a lot to offer folks in that lane. I can tell you for sure, we don't often or almost ever see them in the HR payroll
Yeah.
space, even as I go down market in my advisory work. And so it's been interesting to get to know, kind of the
Yeah.
breadth of what they have is really quite interesting for sure.
Yeah.
Thank you
They're
so
they're
much. So
Yeah, they're a little bit of a secret out there, and I don't think people really know what they have. So yeah, check it out. But fun fact here, Julie. I mean, you know this. I run my businesses, all of my entities on Zoho products. I use Sign, I use Invoice. We use it here. We use Books now for HR and Payroll 2.0. It's very robust for the small business user. I have to say, I personally am a customer, actually, more so than I am an analyst. But yeah, just so proud that they stepped forward, and I love their brand. And again, not exactly HR or known for that, but has some strong HR products inside of their solution and just a wonderful, wonderful brand and company. So check that out if you're interested. Very cool. There's a lot of articles I think out there on that transnational localism work and just how they uniquely have built things like Zoho University and other things. It's fascinating. So,
yeah,
all right. Well, look, thank you again to all three of them. Julie, I think it's important we do one more thing before we leave here.
okay,
One of the things we didn't talk about is what are we going to do with this funding, right? Where is this going to actually go? And I think it's important for people to know 100% of it is going to go back into this show. The show was never designed around making money, right? It's just been a labor of love. It's been a digital calling card or business card for you and I. But fundamentally, we've bootstrapped this and put a lot into it. And now have the ability to actually invest in better equipment, maybe. We're going to show up at an event at least. We've already scheduled, tell me what it was.
world at work,
World at
world at
Work,
work,
the
yeah,
Total
in
Rewards version
April,
in San Antonio, I think in late April, right? Mid-April.
mid
So we're going to be bringing the HR and Payroll 2.0 flag to record at some of these events. We'd love to have you. And we're also going to be pushing a bit more into our promotion so that we can push the engagement up by way of things like maybe YouTube ads or Google ads or something like that to bring our show to places that people that might not be finding it naturally. So
yeah,
yeah, we're really going to push it all back in here and have this platform just continue to build on
yeah,
this platform. And I think the sky's the limit, and we, look, we need your help too, right? I mean, call to action is always like, share, subscribe, give us a rating, whatever you can do to engage is very much appreciated. But know that we're really very much defending and investing in this audience in this community, and we're protecting what we've built, and we're going to continue to just escalate it from there. So
yep.
super super excited for 26.
That's right. And key to everything you said there is labor of love. We both have day
Yeah,
jobs. We both love our day jobs. That's what we want to be doing. And yet we have so many amazing conversations that, we want to make sure others can participate in, can benefit from, and can give us input and feedback on.
and please do.
And please do, and that's
Yeah,
exactly why we're doing this because we just wanna keep it going and, keep it rolling and keep it in the same spirit and culture that we've, been working with. This is not a financial endeavor for either one of us. It is a labor of love that you talked about.
yeah. Yeah, and nothing's changing, right? Again, absolutely nothing changes. I don't believe for the experience. At most, you might see the brands riding with our brand, but otherwise, no ads, no asks of you other than, like I said, just like, share, and subscribe. Anything you can do to give us a little bit of an engagement is always very helpful. And yeah, keep the comments coming. I read the comments. They're really positive, Julie. We get emails from time to time. We would love to have your feedback. If there's a guest you want, if there's a subject we haven't covered, get in touch. Let us know. I'm happy to do it. We've got a lot planned. We've got a lot of executives we have bringing on here, some industry leaders that have been around for some time, sharing their knowledge. We've got some folks coming from various different continents, Asia, Africa. We're really trying to diversify here. We've got some various different news that's going to get dripped in as and when it happens, and just a lot more of what we've been doing. So stick and stay with us is what we're saying.
That's it.
All right. Well, thank you, Julie, and thank you to One Source Virtual, Zoho, and GP for their generosity. We really appreciate you powering us forward. And yeah, we'll be back with more coming very soon. So stick and stay.